Hello, and welcome to Everyday Ordinary Extraordinary Women. I am Martina, and I'm here with Christina.
Hello.
And we are your podcast hosts. And we were inspired to create this podcast after pondering the following question: what will the world look like where we can be inspired by every person? Usually, we're very quick to compare and judge ourselves and others. And when we do that, everybody's losing. So depending on my point of view, I can either feel small because I come out lacking, or arrogant and dismissive because I feel superior. And those are the only two options, and neither of those options actually make us feel good or great at all. So here's our thought. Someone's everyday normal is someone else's extraordinary. Judgment comes from first impressions, and we invite you, the listener, to go beyond first impressions and see the magic everywhere. There's inspiration at every corner, in everyone, if we're willing to look. And today we're here with Sue. And so, Sue, do you want to say hi, and do you want to tell us who you are?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am grateful to be here with these two fabulous ladies. First of all, thank you for bringing this platform to the world and focusing on, brilliant people who, like you said, are doing ordinary things, extraordinary things all the time. I am I'm a lot of things. I'm a PR lady by day. Been doing public relations for tech companies for years and years and years. And the rest of my time is spent being a single mom to my two kids, dog lover, and a lot of the time just trying to figure out how to be a good human being. And that's been a journey of mine just recently.
Yeah, so Christina and I met you in October, and you are just this extremely talented, powerful sound healer, and it's just so cool to watch how you're stepping more and more into that, right? It's like the different hats we wear all day, right? Like the mom hat and sometimes it's the wife hat, or it's the business hat, and then it's the in the closet kind of, please nobody see this. And having watched you coming more and more out, it's just so beautiful. And I want to say, like, claiming yourself, right? Just stepping more into who you are. It's just been an honor and a privilege to witness. And so, if we really knew you, what would we know about you?
I think this is all new to me. I spent most of my life just being, what I needed to be for other people. And now it's like I'm in my late 50s and I'm just starting to figure that out. And it's okay. Like, I guess me as a person, I love to make people laugh. I think that was kind of a survival technique back when I was a kid. I am a truth seeker, always have been, which is interesting, especially related to religion. I was very rebellious. My dad was a devout Catholic, and I just couldn't get there. It just didn't make sense to me, and nobody could answer my very direct questions about, the rituals and all the whys of all the things in Catholicism. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I respect all religions. But it was just, I've been on this journey of just trying to find the truth in a lot of areas of my life, throughout my life. And I think it's really come to a head the last couple of years in a good way. But yeah, truth seeker, I think, is really who I am.
I think that's a really common theme with women. I can only speak for myself, but since we're all around the same age, and we have a lot of women that we know that are kind of similar, but I think we're all like, we kind of hit that, like, I don't know, 40, 50 mark. And we're like, oh, okay, my life has been about pleasing others or checking off this to-do list. But now who am I and what really makes me happy? Right. And so, yeah, I think that's a kind of theme on this podcast. But I think sometimes inside of looking at that, we see that we were always on that path, like maybe that, like the curiosity of always wanting to know things. But I think it's really cool to be on this path. Like I loved studying Angelic Reiki with you and having you in the corner while we were studying, playing your singing bowls. And you started out that weekend like, I'm just dabbling. And by the end of the weekend, you were truly owning that you are a sound healer in addition to a Reiki master now. And it's just brilliant. The more you keep stepping into it, how much happier you get, right? Like, for those who aren't seeing this, Sue has the most beautiful smile, and you just light up a room. And I think that all speaks to being on that right path, right?
And one of the things you're saying about, like stopping the people pleasing is I literally had yesterday the conversation with my daughter about that, right? And she's away and she's staying with the family, and there's a lot of volatile stuff that's happening there, and just claiming her space rather than trying to accommodate everyone, right? And you doing that is like they then can step on your shoulders, right? It's like they then can have the challenging conversations. They can then say stop. They can, which is something that like I did not learn from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you didn't, right? It's just like we're coming in more and more into that so that our daughters then have access to that as well because they're stepping on our shoulders. And that's just the coolest thing to hear because it's so needed, right? We need the balance between men and women. It's, we need to balance it out. We need to come and rise to the same platform, not surpass, just be at the same level, which is
Mm-hmm.
really beautiful.
Yeah, it's been great. Painful, but great.
It's interesting you say painful because I was thinking, I've done a lot of growing in the 13 years almost that I've been with Nick, and a lot of it is undoing some of those behaviors, right? Which is really hard on him, right? Like what happened to my people pleasing girlfriend? Like, who does everything? And now she's like, no, I think my yoga comes first or this comes first. And he's like, but inside of that, he's growing too, right? Like he's making choices, for himself and okay with that, right? Like he went camping this week by himself because I had to work, and so it can be painful at times as you figure that out and choose new ways of being with each other. But in the end, I can at least say Nick and I have grown more together through, like, we've definitely had our ups and downs along the way, but I think it's definitely brought us to a better place because we each are more responsible for our own happiness instead of seeking the other one to meet our needs, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's it, right? That's really like you take care of you, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like I was listening to Byron Katie this morning, and she's just so brilliant. And I keep forgetting, right? But it's like there's my business, there's your business, and there's God business. And if I'm tending to your business, so if I'm over here thinking about you, I'm tending to your business, but my business gets completely neglected, right?
Right.
And if I feel lonely, it's because I'm in your business and not in my business. And I'm like, oh, wow, what a revelation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I really wish more people would think that way. It would change the world.
Well, it starts with us, right? It starts
Yeah.
with you and I. The more we can stand in our business and stop pleasing others and taking care of ourselves, right? Not at the cost of anybody else, but taking care of ourselves, that's when it starts, right? Because then
Right.
more people see that as a model. It's like, oh, wow, okay, that's a possibility. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Beautiful.
Good stuff. All right, so we're gonna do our icebreaker question. Tell us a funny or silly or embarrassing story.
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and it's not so much a one-time thing, but I have a habit of blonde moments throughout my life, and there's a few that kind of stuck that others have witnessed that I will not live down. A few years ago, we were living in Memphis, and it was, I don't know, November or so, and I was looking out the window across the street, and I saw these green and red lights, and I was like, oh wow, look at the Christmas lights are going up. And everybody was in the living room, my kids and my former husband. They're like, what do you mean? And they come and they look at, and my husband's like, that's a traffic light. It's like, okay, so yeah, the Christmas light things, that's always surfaces every once in a while for the benefit of all in the room. And then another moment that I just had recently, I was watching the Olympics, right? Watching the Olympic swimming. And in the lanes, how they have, the name and then the time, and it's behind the leaders or whatever, the people in the front. I'm watching, and it's like, and I was watching it for a while, and it said leader in one of the lanes, and leader kept coming up, and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of people named leader in the Olympics this year. so yeah.
I have to say, Sue, that one confused me too. The first race I saw it in, I was like, wait, the guy's name's Leader? And then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Can I just say, you said like you had a few blonde moments. Can you just say that? That is just so not okay. You just had like a human moment, or like, because we all have that, right? And it's
yeah.
a stereotype that is just really not nice
Well,
and not,
I own that though. It's like
yeah.
it's something that just it reminds me that I am human, and
Yes.
it allows me to laugh at myself.
Yeah, no, and I think that's beautiful. It's just,
Yeah.
if I'm thinking about people out there, like there's such a stereotype about the
Yeah.
dumb blonde,
What? Yeah.
the
Right.
dumb blonde, and that's why, right? It's like, no, it's just human, and we all do. I don't know if you heard my silly, embarrassing story, and it's just really, it was exactly one of those, right? It's like me calling Wendy's to ask if they have space available and if I need to make a reservation, right? And and it literally didn't cross my mind at that point. We were just, it didn't, right? I had one of those where it's like, oh, okay, there's a restaurant, let me call them, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's many of those moments.
yes, and everybody has them, right? And that's why we invite, it's just like humanize, right? We're all human. It's okay. We all do silly stuff like that, right? There's really
Right.
nothing right or wrong about it. It's just like, yep, okay. So after this lightness, let's just go into like a deeper question, okay? And it has many parts, so you pick whatever. Maybe you answer one with all, or you take each one however you want to do it. So what made you who you are today? And inside of that is, for example, what was your biggest lesson, or what took the most courage, or when did you stand up for something that mattered to you?
Yeah, I think that's a culmination of things that's happened over the last 4 years. I was married for 33 years, and we both brought our own baggage to the marriage. And after a while, everything was just failing no matter how hard we tried. And it just got to the point where we were just surviving, not thriving. as partners, not thriving as human beings, parents, you name it. And so that led to a lot of just really dark times. It impacted my health. So these last 4 years, there was a lot of those, major life moments that had to happen. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I just felt that I needed to take care of very specific things in my life if I was going to continue living. That's how bad it was. And those things were, I had to improve my health. I had to get stability for myself in terms of my own employment. I had to fix my marriage, and I needed to be happy in some shape or form, because all of those things were the lowest of the low. And in the last 4 years, all of those things have changed. Can start with my husband. I filed for divorce. He ended up moving to California right before COVID started. So I was here trying to take care of my daughter, who was in high school at the time, take care of a house, all the things. Ended up selling the house, moving across the street, finding a place to rent, getting my daughter, helping her through all the horrible things that kids had to go through, with school and everything in COVID. I ended up having 2 major surgeries to get my body back in check. All these things happened within a year. Lost our Great Pyrenees, had to put them down. And after that, I did all these things alone, and it was like, okay. The scariest thing out of all that was having to file for divorce with my husband. I didn't know how that was all going to go, how it was all going to be received, and what was going to possibly be put back on me. And thankfully, even though it was extremely scary and extremely painful, I think that change had to happen, and one of us had to do it. And I think the timing, was appropriate. But I wouldn't be here where I am today without my husband. Looking back through this whole healing process and looking internally and, at the both of us as partners and, husband and wife, he actually was a beacon for me in a lot of different ways. He helped me figure out what I wanted to be. When I was in college, I majored in many things. And one day we sat down and he's like, you're good at writing. Why don't you major in journalism? I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And that's really what helped me build my career as a PR person. His job, we had to move a lot. He was in the hotel industry. So we came from a very small town in Wisconsin, very small, and just not lots of opportunities to grow in any way, really. And so he got us out of there. And we've lived all over the country, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. It's been really a really good way to grow as a human being, is to either travel or live in different places. It shows you a lot about yourself and, the things that you like and the things that you don't. And he also actually pointed me in a direction of this spiritual journey that I've been on. While he was away during COVID, he too was going through a lot of really dark times, and turned to meditation and actually crystals, and pointed us to that when my daughter graduated from high school. He went to the crystal store and he came home with all these things and gave it to her as a gift. And I'm like, that's interesting. And a few months later, went to the same crystal store and had a session with a medium, and a bunch of stuff came through, and I haven't looked back since. So I guess, yeah, I mean, that's a really long-winded question. I don't know if I answered it all, but it's just been a major transformation and awakening that's taken place these last few years. And I think it needed to happen now. Like you said earlier, Martina, you know, there's things happen when they're supposed to. We get what we need when we're supposed to get it. And it's just I don't regret any part of my life. And you know, you have to really just been seeing a lot lately. It's like we live in this world where we're surrounded by social media and we project these perfect lives, and it's so just so unauthentic. And it's like you can't grow if you don't go through the good with the bad. And you know, it's like when I was in the hospital on my 10th day, it was just like, just bring it at this point, you know, just bring it. I don't care what comes my way. Everything is supposed to happen, good or bad, and you just that's just life, you know. So let's live it, good and bad, you know. So
So many juicy nuggets in there.
yeah,
I
it's
think
been a ride.
I think the most beautiful part of that story is how much you still honor your husband through it all, and how grateful you still are to how much he's given to you, and how you're still on this similar path is really quite um intriguing, right? Like that he found crystals before you did. And um but sometimes we need that space, right? Sometimes we're so stuck in the survival of life that to truly
Right.
appreciate your partner, you need some space, um which is interesting too, right?
Yeah,
Martina, are you?
sometimes, well, you know, and like we said earlier, you know, sometimes there's just things that you have to shed, and sometimes that's relationships. And there was a time when we were better together, but now we're just better apart, and it's okay, you know. And I think we're both better human beings for that, you know. So yeah.
Which is beautiful. I did Missions to Millions just last week with Melanie Layer, I think is her last name, and she has you write your biography, of your biography in the third person, and keep saying because of that, and because of that, and because of that, and if you do that, essentially what happens is everything was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was as it needed to be, right? I was bullied, and because of that, I was sick, and because of that, I got a divorce, and because of that, right? And like all that it provided to go through those situations. So there is no bad, really. It's all
Right.
necessary for us to take the next step into whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of what I hear in what you're saying, which is really, really precious and beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And it took, I mean, and don't get me wrong.
Of course, of
There
course.
was a lot of anger and resentment and all the things, you know, we're all human, and that comes with emotions. And that's another lesson too, is I think generationally, um, we were programmed to bury everything that we feel, you know, at least from where I come from. And it was just something that was part of our lives that really impacted. I see it in my kids, and the whole just, you know, don't talk through problems, just bury them, just, you know, wake up the next day, pretend things didn't happen. And I think that's another really big lesson. It is a very big lesson that I've learned, that I've been able to reflect on and see and change now moving forward. We shouldn't be afraid of talking to each other, and we shouldn't be afraid of just feeling stuff, you know?
Yeah, we make up so much stuff in our heads about what's going on over there in the other person. And when you can actually sit down and have a straight conversation, oftentimes you learn that half this stuff is just made up, that it's not what you thought was going on in your head. And you're like, oh, I wasted so much time thinking blah, 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 when I could have just had this straight conversation. And it's, yeah, really powerful stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Well, talking about powerful stuff, Sue, what's your superpower?
I think there's a couple. So like I said before, I when I was a kid, I was kind of bullied, and as I got older, like into high school, I discovered that if you can make people laugh, you can have friends you can be friends with anyone. So I had friends. I was in all the groups, back in the day, when there were cliques. And I was friends with the jocks, and I was friends with the drama kids, and I was in band, and the geeks and all the stuff. And so just the ability to connect with people through humor, and it just really helps break down a lot of walls, and sometimes and labels, and just letting people just open up. So yeah, humor. And then something I've just learned recently on this spiritual journey, our friend Danielle Artigo, our teacher, I'm taking her Mary Magdalene class. And there was a recent, during one of the meditations, this download came through for me. And it was really powerful. And what she said to me was, Mary Magdalene said to me was that when I'm working with people, to be still, to watch, listen, hold space with humility, do not fix, but guide and heal. And that was like a roadmap, very specific instructions that have just been able to elevate how I've been able to connect with people who, are interested in the sound healing. And there's just amazing things that have been happening through that. So I wouldn't call it I don't know if it's so much a superpower as it is just, continuing to learn and grow on the spiritual journey, and really have an impact. So
I think part of that is like trusting the intuition too. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I think we've all learned is one of the hardest things to do, because it's like, where'd that come from? Was that me, or was that something else? Or, just, yeah, trust. Good word.
So what fills you up? So what do you do to recharge your batteries?
I've really found, because I work, I have my day job, and that takes a lot of time, focus, and energy. And every weekend, it seems like I've had the opportunity to do a sound healing in some shape or form. And being able to, and I think we've learned this as well from Danielle Artigo, our teacher, is that when you are an empath, when you're a healer, you really need to share that gift. And if you don't, like she's literally said, like you start to leak. And so I've felt that. And it's like, I don't want to leak. I need to share this stuff. And so it's been interesting, because people have been finding me, and I've been finding people who are thirsty for, just wanting relief or release, or finding peace, or, whatever it is. So being able to share that with folks, and, make life better for them before they talk to me or worked with me, has been really, really healing for me too. And just really satisfying and rewarding, and all the things just to say, I helped elevate the frequency in some shape or form in the world today, So yeah, I really like that.
And it is in whichever way you do it, right? It's like, because like I hear you and immediately it's like, well, does it have to be a business? It's no, it's the conversation with the person next door. It's you before we started recording, you were sharing about spending a weekend with your friend, like, and doing all that work, just like sharing what we have, because we're so stingy, right? We are selfish in the way of thinking that we are unworthy, or whatever conversation we have about it, that's such a selfish conversation in a way, right? Where it's all about me rather than what I can provide, right? And I heard somebody say recently, what if you knew that what you have is like the cure to cancer?
Right.
And it is, right?
Yeah.
It is, because I don't know who says, it might be Louise Hay, who says cancer is the disease of resentment. It eats you up. So
Right.
as you're doing the work, as you lighten the load, as you have the conversations, as you're letting go, you are clearing space, and there's nothing that the cancer can attach to, in a way, right?
Right.
But we don't interact as it like that. It's like, well, what the difference can I make, right? So in whichever way you do it, right? And for you, it is you go to places and play for people on a donation basis, or you do one-on-one sessions, or you just have conversations with friends and invite them in. But however it is, I just wanted to clarify that, because it sounds like very big and it can sound very big and daunting to just put it out there like that, right?
Right.
No.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it's been really it's been nice to just be able to share this with no pressure. Like, I don't want to make money doing this. I just want to do it, period. And whatever the universe, whatever doors open, whoever comes across my path, whoever, discovers all this, is really all that matters, So it just makes it a little bit more like, yeah, this was meant to be. I'm not forcing it.
Really beautiful. Sue, if you had a magic wand and could give people any quality, what would it be and why?
I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, and what you all are trying to do with this platform is just make people a little more aware. Sorry, my phone did something weird. Just trying to make people more aware of their energy and what they're projecting on others, and how, and also how they're absorbing other people's energy. I've always, I think we've kind of all been there, where it's like, I didn't realize really how sensitive I was to this kind of aspect of life, that we're all energetic beings. And I just think that if people were more conscientious of how they're presenting and projecting throughout the day, I think the world would be a kinder place, because it would make you rethink, oh, do I really need to say that? Do I really need to put that opinion out there? Do I really need to be so negative? And just focus more on making, just being aware of raising the vibration, around you. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. I don't think most people have any awareness of their energy and how simple it is to shift it. And it would be so easy to teach people, right? Like simple techniques to shift that. So yeah, I think it's a really attainable goal, right? Like it's a lot of goals we have that you're like, oh my god. But teaching people how to shift their energy, like, yeah, that's easy. Like, we could all take on this challenge. For sure.
Well, for me, like immediately what I hear is like first you need to be willing to do that, right? And then
Right.
you need to have the awareness, and then you need to feel like enough responsibility, and not responsibility as a burden, but as this is mine, right?
Mhm.
This is mine. I am responsible for my thoughts, my words, and my actions. Right? Whatever happens outside is out of like Byron Katie says, that's not my business, right? That's
Right.
God's, other people's business. But I can be responsible for how I act or react regarding to something that happened.
Mhm.
And that's just, yeah, that's the access to peace. It's beautiful.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So when did you take a chance for love? And it might not be necessarily romantic love, but when did you take a chance for love?
So this was, I've been thinking about this question too. And this kind of goes with the whole journey and just growth, right? I've always hated conflict. And it doesn't matter if it's, trying to resolve little kids arguing in the room, 5-year-olds or adults or whatever. It's like, do not put me in the situation. I don't want to go there. And last year, my kids always come for Christmas here, and they're 6 years apart, my two girls, and their relationship's been a bit rocky throughout their lives. And I take responsibility for that. And, it's just whatever. But it's like, we're not doing that this year for Christmas. We're not going to have a meltdown. We're not going to, bring all of that negative stuff into the house. And so I told them before they came last year, it's like, okay, here's the deal. Here's how the holidays are going to work this time. We are going to, if there's emotions or anything that, is bugging you, you can consider this a safe place to say how you're feeling at any given time. And we're going to allow each other the space to do that. And if there's something that you have had just stewing for the longest time, for years, whatever, this will be the time to talk about that. No pressure, but if you want that to happen, we will make that happen while you're here. So in other words, this holiday season is going to be a healing holiday season if you want to go there with me. And we were about 4 days in, and we were in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner, and one of the girls said, "So do you even want me here?" She said that to my other daughter. And I'm like, let's go. So one of them was on one side of the kitchen island, and the other one was the other side of the kitchen island, and I was in the middle. And I'm like, all right. And we had it out. They had it out. And I navigated, I moderated, I helped speak for one side when the one side was weaker than the other. And, we surfaced a lot of things that night. And the result of that shift in my thinking, getting my big girl pants on and not having that fear of, conflict. And the other thing that I would promise myself, and I'm working on this, is breaking these bonds, these cycles of behaviors that have been generational, really. It's like, that was my first foray into breaking all of that stuff. And so today, my kids, we have a FaceTime call once a week together. They call on each other every once in a while for their own stuff, with help with college and whatever. And so yeah, there's been some growth there too, and a lot of healing. So I'm really glad that I dipped my toe in the water there, and and good things happen. So yeah.
That is so extremely powerful. It's just, again, it's like the word I hear is peace, right? It's just like in your little world, but it ripples out, right? Because then how we interact with other people, and you daring to step up for yourself and say, thank you, no more like this. Let's just try something different. It's just, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's so exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been life-changing in a lot of ways. All of this, you know, my own personal journey and spiritual growth, the way it's kind of, like you said, rippled out to others. Yeah, very healing. Yeah, I'm just so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I'm here with you guys. Wouldn't be here, yeah, if some of these things didn't happen. So it's very cool.
It's really, really beautiful. And I'm sure you see it rippling out in your girls' lives too. Like it doesn't just happen over here, right? Like it's ripples. It's really exciting to see. So Sue, what are you most grateful for?
I guess it's really just the bigger picture, you know, like I said earlier, it's like, you know, we go through this lifetime and the good and the bad. So I'm just grateful for this whole journey that got me to where I'm sitting here talking to you guys, you know. It's just really profound, and you know, and I just get up every morning and say, universe, you know, what are we going to do today? Bring it. You know, and having the ability to do that, I guess too, is my health was really bad for a very, very long time, and just the ability to get up in the morning and function like a normal human being is truly a gift when when you can't do that, you know, after a while. So yeah, grateful for my health and just this lifetime.
We're so grateful, or I am so grateful for you. I'm just like, I'm blown away, and I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm so happy that I got to meet you and just, you know, talk to you, and you know. So I don't know. I'm talking for me. I assume it's the same for Christina. So,
No,
but I'm gonna.
I know I'm in St. Louis and you're in Georgia, but still having you on our little texting chats and on Facebook, and I love seeing your positive spins that you share with the world. Like, look at the rainbow on my walk with the dog, and just I was like, yay! Like it truly is. Even if they are these little blips, I feel like it's like my little connection to you for that day, right? Like, ooh, look at what Sue's sharing, and it's always these really positive. For me, you just live as this positive fairy in my world, like. Yeah. Well, and I can't help it because my first experience of you was you playing your singing bowls and your wave drum, and so you also exist as this like song of transformation too, and energy, right? Like and inside of really starting to learn my own song, like, and playing as a starseed, and one of my cards I pull all the time from that deck is the Whale and Orca card, which is all about finding your own song. And I feel like that's where we're at this point in our life, right? Like finding our own song and the frequencies, and to have your beautiful gifts that you give to the planet is really spectacular. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
So you have a business. I'm going to call it a business, right? Because it's a fledgling business, but still it's a business. So do you want to tell us about it? Do you want to?
Sure. It's called, what is it called? Pure, I just.
Pure Works Energy Healing.
There you go. .com. So yeah, I just started, again, let me back up. So I did try to start this business a while ago, with a website, and it went nowhere, and I could just feel like I was forcing it. And I was trying to get into angelic Reiki healings, and then the sound healings, and then group things and individual things. And it's like, it just wasn't coming together. And so I just put it down for a while and just decided, I'm going to work with the people that I've met this past year, and just see where this goes. I need to grow as a healer. And I just didn't feel like I was ready to just go all official and start charging people for things. So, so the sound healing is just, it's just open to whoever wants it. And I was, giving this stuff away for a while, and then a few people were just saying, you need a website because I need to tell people about what you're doing and I need to point them somewhere. It's like, all right. So I busted out this website on a Saturday morning and actually, did little photo shoots with the bowls. You'll see on the website, there's, that was fun. But anyway, so yeah, it's just basically, if you are looking to either, just find a way to get closer to your higher power, or if you feel like you're trapped or stuck emotionally or energetically, or if you just need a different way to just relax and let go. The sound healings that I do incorporate angelic Reiki as well. So it's a little bit more than just sitting back in a chair and listening to music. I get the angels that come through me give the recipients whatever they need, even if we do set specific intentions beforehand. It's amazing, the experience that people have. And everyone that I've done this with, both individuals and groups, everyone comes back with something, some kind of experience or connection or healing. And it's really powerful. And I just act as the channel, and things just work. And it's not like, I'm not a medium. I don't get downloads. Like I said, I'm just channeling angelic healing energy, and whatever it is that you need, you'll get. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. It always is like, isn't it? You will get absolutely what you need to get. Now, how many balls do you have in the meantime? And like, I know you have the wave drum, you have another drum, you have little chimes. How many balls do you have?
I have 14.
Cool. Woohoo.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool because there's the two, you guys have heard them, they're the two big ones. It's my Saturn bowl, and then the one that sits next to it. And those are like my bass. And I mean bass in terms of bass tone, but then also my home bass. And I start with those with the boom, boom, right? And I'm just guided to do whatever needs to be done. Every sound healing is completely different. And Martina, like you said, with the drums, people, and I do flutes too. I have a few bamboo flutes that I play. So when I move from the bowls to the drums or the flutes, there's interesting things that have happened, that people experience, whether some have seen like spirit animals, some have seen Native American spirit guides come through. One friend connected with her grandmother who had passed and had a message for her. So it's just interesting how, just like I said, you get what you need. I'm just a channel, and it's really, really special experience, and takes about an hour usually. And yeah, all you gotta do is bring some headphones or earbuds and a blanket and a comfy chair or place to lay, and you're good.
And like one of the things that you didn't mention at all is like you have some training with music as well, right? And I remember the conversation we had about the dissonance in the thing, and that sometimes even the dissonance in the singing bowls, in the sound, are necessary to release stuff and really interesting conversations, but you have also an ear for which balls go together and
Right. Yeah. As a kid, I played the flute. And I was like first chair right out of the gates and remained first chair through high school. But I couldn't read music, so I would play by ear. And I think that's really coming through now with the sound bowls, all of that, just having to listen and apply that, I don't know what you call the listening by ear thing, but just applying that skill. And then the other thing that's starting to happen now for me is I can see as I'm playing, I can see the frequencies. You know how like when you look at asphalt when it's hot out, I can see that and create, there's a name for it. And I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's when all the frequencies come together and impact you like on a molecular cellular scale. And this happens when you're in person with me and when we go do it like via FaceTime as well. So it doesn't matter if you're in person or not, if you're online, it still comes through. It's really, really powerful.
and the best way for people to reach you is through the website.
Yes.
Correct? Yes. That is just so incredible. And it is, like I know, like when I play the gong, it just really doesn't, like people don't even have to be on.
Right.
Right? They don't hear the gong. Like in the beginning, until I figured out the whole sound on Zoom, I would hang up and then play the gong, and people would come back and say, "Whoa, that was amazing!" Right? And not even hearing it, right? Not seeing it, not hearing it, nothing, right? So it's very, very
And you and I need to figure out how to get together and do the gong and the sound bowls. I think, we might, solve world peace with the two of us.
Yes, we definitely need to do that. Absolutely.
I have some singing bowls I can join in too.
Yes, absolutely. And all your crystals, Christina.
Yep, between all of us doing some angelic Reiki and getting our singing bowls and stuff going. Woo! And we might have to put some thought into this one.
Yeah, we could have a healing workshop.
Powwow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like we'll figure it out. Possibilities are endless, and it's really exciting.
It is. It really
Sue,
is.
thank you so much for bringing your amazing energy to our podcast today. Thank you so much for your vulnerability and for your fun. And we just had a blast playing with you today. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. Thank you for listening. If you loved it, please leave us a review, share it with your friends, let everybody know how much you love our podcast. And please remember that you are extraordinary and you rock. Until next time.
Have a wonderful day. Bye for now. So you want to say bye?
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.